Will, Sterling, and Marlon are over at the Players Bistro table. I started to cue up the French music, but I haven't done it yet. So they're over at the Bistro table, and I'm asking them to put themselves in the shoes of opposing coaches. And Will, you can start. If you're going into the season, I think most of us would have said, boy, opposing coaches have to dread how are we going to slow down Josh Heupel's offense. But is it a bigger question now? If you're the opponent, if you're the opposing coach, are you more worried about how are we going to get our own offensive ignited against that defense? Which way are you looking at it, Will?
I would be looking at it from the defensive side. How do we get our offense started? Because part of getting really the start or defeating this offense is maintaining the ball, right?
Yes,
Time of possession. So figuring out how am I going to run against this front seven? How am I going to get head of the chains? How do I get into third and manageable and not be behind the sticks and let this pass rush get to me? I think for a lot of offenses now that becomes the priority as the coaching staff of where are we going to get our offense from? Where do we find those cheap, 3-4 yards that we can average? Because if we don't and we give this offense enough times, I think any defensive coordinator goes, we're going to give up points and it's going to be a boat race and we don't want that. So the offense has got to help out the defense. But to me, I think it's definitely that area. What about you first?
Well, what I think and I've said earlier in my last comment, the other offenses have got to be nervous because our defense is only operating at 70% right now. We haven't shown everything. Our main guys haven't playing a lot of plays right now. So when he gets activated and now they're concerned about guys they didn't even know about up front in that front seven. Yep. So how are you going to get an offensive game plan to go against something when you haven't seen it all yet? And that's what I'm excited about.
Yeah, I would say that when you watch us play right now with a young quarterback, but he's coming. And I think defensive coaches and teams understand, all right, this offense is going to get better. He's going to get more familiar with his receivers. They're going to figure out scheme-wise what work, what don't work. But I still would say you're more worried about our defense because with this offense coming, there's going to be potential you got to get in a shootout. And if you can't score the football yourself, that offense is going to score points. So I think both of you guys are absolutely right on that.
And think about what you just said. Our offense is in the shootout, and we still put all these points on the board the first two games. Yeah. I'm just saying. And our defense has not let it all out yet. We got some exciting times ahead of us in Vols Nation.
I think the one exciting thing I was to see is the tight end being back as a weapon in this. Yep. And for me, that is a harder offense. This offense with a tight end that can block and be athletic and catch is a much more difficult offense than without. If you just have wide receivers, I don't think this offense is as prolific or as hard with the tight end.
I think what Preston Fant did in this offense a couple years ago is discredited in a lot of ways, but that guy was scoring touchdowns, this guy was throwing touchdowns, and also making key blocks.
Like running back.
Yeah, when you have that tight end element, it looked like we've got three of them, just watching all three guys yesterday that can get open, that can also block you, but then also understand the scheme. So that makes it a lot scarier for sure, offense-wise.
Like you said, the tight end's already activated. Our wide receivers are I'm excited about what's about to happen in Vols Nation on offense, brother.
Well, there it is, John. I think, thinking of mostly us, think defense is the harder one to do. There you go. The music. But yeah, I think right now defense is the harder thing for these offenses. They know what the offense is going to be, but right now defense would be the struggle if you're coming in to play this Tennessee team right now.
Very good. The sounds of Paris behind our guys at the French Bistro table. All right. When we come back, will they or won't they? This is going to be a whole lot more about Tennessee than it will be about Kent State. Did you see Kent State score last night? They lost to St. Francis. Ever heard of St. Francis? I didn't think so. Come on back on the Sports Source.